and we're going to be talking about semi-trucks, I-80, I-94. It's going to be a question and answer session. If I really want you to be good drivers, I got to get you more information. And we have some simple videos on the no zones in trucks, but a lot of you are going to be traveling deeper, out of state, and there's semi trucks across the country. And we've been seeing a lot of semi trucks on the road, and we see some that are 2 or 3 as we get closer to the city. They are more because semi trucks carry cars from the United States to Canada, the United States to Mexico, and we need semi trucks. And then if you can kind of focus your questions towards semi trucks and cars, and once we go through the discussion, I think you're going to have a bigger picture and a better understanding. That's what I really want to do as your instructor, is to push your thinking and elevate you to a higher level. And I'm going to go ahead and talk about this information. So what I did, I used Google Scholar, and I want to speak with knowledge. I want to speak through the NHTSA and the FMCSA. They're peer review articles. So people who are experts in semi trucks, cars, accidents, you're going to get a kind of a perspective, because we live in a cold weather region, and I'm going to have those questions up as I go along. And you know, when it's cold, you don't want to be around trucks. Okay. I'm going to kind of go along with the first question. Should I not turn with semi trucks? First, you want to let the truck make the turn first. Trucks are wide. They're going to take up 2 lanes. You don't want to cut to the inside. I saw a car actually smashed on the curb because the truck tried to sneak inside. So we want to let trucks make turns. Don't cut them off. That's what I want you to remember. They move slower. We have a lot of young drivers, less than 5 years, 10 years experience. And a lot of these drivers go through truck driving school like you go through driver's ed school. It costs $3,000, $4,000, $7,000. You guys just paid like $500 or $600. But the older truck drivers are retiring. They're done. The newer truck drivers who are 21, 25, 27, 30, because I look at a lot of them on YouTube because it's very fascinating. They're female truck drivers making 40, 60, 70, 80, 90,000. They talk about their journey, traveling on the road at night, eating, getting the truck washed, loading up the truck, using their special truck GPS, right? Hey, E, how are you doing? So it's really exciting. And when you see a young person who's doing big things, right? Owning their own truck, or saying, hey, after 2 years, I'm going to buy this truck, and then I'm going to become a truck broker and get another. One time I drove a young lady, her grandmother drove her truck, and both of her uncles. So I had the privilege of sitting down with grandma on the porch and asking her questions. Wow. But also there is very strict standards. Okay. So make sure you just turn down your volume a little bit, please. And thank you. So I don't have that background. All right. I just muted. So she on that silly. Anyway. So if you don't mind traveling and controlling your own hours, you can make a lot of money, but it is kind of a lonely job. And my biggest fear is just falling asleep at the wheel, right? So let's look at black ice. Black ice is ice you can't see. So if you think it's hard in a car, imagine a truck weighing 80,000, 90,000, 100,000 pounds, and they're trying to not jackknife. So there are accidents on I-94, I-80, and you guys are not really aware because you're not really around big semi trucks. We've been around more trucks because we're on the expressway, we're driving, we're pushing, we're staying out of the no zones. I need all of you to type in, what are the no zones? This is your test review. Tell me what is a no zone and why we should stay out of it. Please type it in. Yes, a lot of people do get tired. And recently in Dallas, a truck driver killed 5 people. He fell asleep at the wheel. So as a result of that, this company will definitely get sued. They are a mail carrying company for the United Post Office, and this company was falsifying documents, and it's all going to come out in the news, and I will talk about that. but I want my drivers to be educated. I have friends who are truck drivers, and they have given me good information, so I'm sharing this with you. So we ask about the no zones. There are 4 no zones: left side, right side, front, and back. If you should pass your truck, you want to try to pass on the left. If you can't, then you want to get in and out of that blind spot as quick as possible. And I think a lot of us have seen, and you've told me, wow, that truck moves fast. They are pushing fast. They are pushing hard. And typically, if you're a young person, you're like, I want to be independent. I want to make my own money. I want to have my own trucking company in 5 years. So if I drive from 21 to 31, I'm going to have 5 trucks, 5 truck drivers, and then I'll make 300,000, 400,000. I'll get a U.S. mail contract. I'll get a Ford contract. I'll get a General Motors contract. And if you get that, you're set for life. Because I drove one young lady last year. Her dad and mom own several semi trucks. And Grace, they live near you. Okay, they live near you. And her dad, they got a couple of semi trucks. So they are doing it big. Okay. Whiteouts. This is when it's a really heavy snow. You don't want to follow the truck. You want to back up. You want to get room. And we think, man, that truck is big. I can keep pushing. But if it's hard for you to see, it's hard for the truck driver to see, right? Blowouts. We can't stop on I-94, but if we could, I picked up some of that big rubber from a tire blowing up before. It's big, huge chunks of rubber. And occasionally semi-truck tires do blow out. And if you are driving and each of your tires costs $500, I'm just picking a number, can some of you do research? How much do semi-truck tires cost? And put it into the chat. Again,
I'll do that.
Do that. My day is awesome. Jay, how are you? How's the job? Tell me some good news, Jay. We miss you. So semi-truck tires do blow up. 2 years ago, we were driving to Bowling Green, Ohio. My son was being recruited. We were driving from the Midwest to Bowling Green, Ohio. A semi-truck tire blew up, and it was a big cloud of smoke. I'm like, wow, it sounded like a gunshot. So Lex found out $300 to $700. Right? So imagine if you need 3 tires, okay? And that's a lot of money. So you can get a retread. They'll pull your tire off. They'll cut off the whole tread of the tire. They'll glue, hot glue with a special machine, tread on the tire, which is fine. But in some cases, that tire will come apart and you'll have a blowout. So if you have an owner of a trucking company that's cheap and not willing to get new tires, you're going to have a lot of blowouts. You're going to have a lot of failures. So that's really important, right? So you want to stay away from trucks. Have you guys seen a blowout before in a semi? If you have, put yes into the chat. If you've seen a blowout before, I'm going to type yes into the chat. I have. It's scary. I'll put yes in, okay? Potholes. We live in an area where if you think it's bad in the car, imagine that pounding, boom, 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 boom on tires. So potholes are very damaging to our suspension, the shocks, the springs, and semi-truck tires. I know how much the tire pressure is. Type in what is the required semi-truck tire pressure. Type it in and put it into the chat. Type it in and put it into the chat, please. What is the correct pressure? Pounds per square inch. What is the correct tire pressure semi-truck tires must have? Okay, and our cars is 32. Sincere said 90 to 120 pounds. And as you drive on the interstate, the tire pressure goes up. In the wintertime, the tire pressure goes down. One person said 85 to 110. It depends on the type of semi-truck. It depends on what you're hauling. We can safely say anywhere from upper 80s to 110, 120. So now you're getting knowledge. So if that tire explodes, someone is going to get killed. Okay? So we're getting different answers, and you guys are just scouring the internet. Let's keep going. So potholes. Scan ahead, avoid swerving. And many of you say, oh, our roads, you got to watch potholes. Okay. And it's the summer right now. It's 95 degrees, right? We're chilling. But once the fall hits and the temperature drops, don't blame it on the trucks. That's a whole nother issue between the state and the governor and contractors. But we're going to have a freezing and thawing cycle, roughly 400 to 600, high quality 1200. If you're an owner of a trucking company, I think most of you would say, listen, we're going to get a tire that's anywhere from $600 to $800, right? So you have to balance your budget, okay? Low visibility. You don't want to tailgate trucks. We want to have room. You want to use your low beam and increase following distance. 8 tires per truck, per axle. Steep grades, we'll go uphill and downhill. So someone find out what a runaway truck ramp is. Please do that. Type in what a runaway truck ramp is.
I went to North Carolina this spring and I actually saw what they look like.
Brother, tell us.
So what a runaway truck ramp was when I was in North Carolina, like I was going back and forth between like multiple areas because we were doing mission work. Like our base camp was in one area and like 20 miles away was where we were doing our ministry work. So each time we drove, we passed 3 separate runaway truck ramps. Basically what they are, it's a long stretch of sand off the side of the highway, and it's like it slowly inclines upward. So and then the sand is made into mounds, like 2-foot mounds probably.
How are you doing? Thank you for coming from New Mexico.
Bumps. Very big speed bumps. And then there's a big hill at the end. So they're probably going to stop.
Right. He said probably. So if you keep riding your brakes will fail.